Hello guys, this is Vignesh Krishnan here from Blenderman, and I'm here to give you a set of tutorials on Blender. Okay, before we start doing something, most of you guys are here without any knowledge about Blender, so I'd like to give you a small of sorts about Blender. So what is Blender? As Wikipedia puts it, Blender is a free and open source 3D computer graphics software product used for creating animated films, visual effects, art, 3D printed models, and interactive games and blah 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 and all those stuff. It lets you create animations and all those cool stuff to put it simple. Okay, so for those who already have Blender, this is not necessary, but for the rest of the guys who still have not downloaded it, you can go and download it from www.blender.org/download. So once you downloaded Blender, make sure you get the latest version of Blender. Okay, the latest version is 2.69 and I use 2.69 as well. So after you download and install Blender, this will be the default setup. No, wait, this is not the default setup. Wait. Okay, this will be the default setup because I had changed something according to my preferences. Now this will be the default setup of Blender. You have this weird envelope-ish thing standing in some horrible looking cube and around this thing. Okay, I know you guys are intimidated by this scene. Okay, I'm gonna here to break things down. Okay, the interface can be quite confusing for those who are entirely new to 3D modeling and animation stuff, and even for those who have experience in 3D modeling but not with Blender, because its interface is quite confusing and intimidating at the first sight. Okay, so don't get freaked out, I'm here to help you. In this video I'll be covering the basics of the Blender interface. Sorry for the bad quality of my video. I'm working on a pretty old PC now, so hopefully I'll record it on a better system next time. Okay, let's start, shall we? uh, this is the standard stuff which we see in all the software which we download: the file, add, render, window, help, and all those things. The file menu as usual contains the new, open, open recent, save, save as, and all those things. And then the add menu contains stuff which you can add inside the Blender interface. And then the render menu contains details about rendering, and then the window contains details about the window. You can either take screenshots from here, or you can get into full screen mode and all those stuff. And this one is the help menu, and this gives details about the software and also help notes. Okay, what's next? We will be going into these things here. Well, before I tell you anything in this video, I'm only telling you what is what. I'm not explaining anything. Okay, you don't have to memorize anything that I'm saying, because as you watch further tutorials which will be uploaded by me in the forthcoming days, you will understand the interface of Blender and how to use it. So this software is all about practice, alright? It's not about theory and all those stupid stuff. Okay, this one is the screen layout, which helps you select what layout we want. By now we are in the default layout. And then this one is the scene. If you're working on a file which has different scenes, for example, if you're making a movie and it has different scenes, you can use this to work. And then this one is the Tools tab. Okay, what is this Tools tab? This Tools tab is used to this Tools tab contains information related to that object and has a set of tools that can be used to make changes to that. For example, smooth button is used to smooth that object. By object, I'm talking about the thing which is being selected here. I have a cube selected here, and it's got all those tools related to that cube. And then Also, there's this properties tab which can be opened by pressing the N key, and for nitrogen, if you're not getting what I'm telling. Okay, now I pressed N, and this one shows all the list of properties like location, rotation, scale, and all the stuff related to that object. You can toggle it on or off by pressing the N, and the same applies for the tools as well. Press T and it will vanish, press T again, it will come back. Okay, and then this one here is the outliner. The outliner is the list that displays what are the objects present on the screen. Here we have this envelope thing, which is the camera. Okay, that's the camera. And if I select camera here, I'm sorry. If I select camera here, the camera gets selected here. If I select the lamp here, the lamp gets selected there as well. So it contains a list of detail objects that are available on the grid here. And now this one. This one is something in which we're gonna do all the work. Okay, so okay, before that, another most important thing. See, all these 3D animation software, after you assign materials and all those things to your object, the image gets rendered by a render engine. In Blender, by default, when you install the software, you will be having this Blender render as the default engine. But this is an obsolete and very old render engine, and the Blender development community has something provided new and awesome as well, and that is the cycles render, which is present here. There's this Blender game which is used for game developers. We're not gonna worry about that. Well, at least I don't, because I don't know how to develop games. Okay, let's select cycles render. So I recommend you use cycles render alone. Blender render is highly confusing and irritating. Okay, now this one here is the render tab containing details about the render. And now this one here is the scene tab containing details about the scene. This one contains the this one is the render layers tab. I'm sorry. Okay, you just move your mouse over there and it shows what's up in the screen. I hover it over there. This is the active. This contains details about the scene. And this one is the world tab, which contains information about the world. By saying world, I'm talking about this dark grayish thing in which you're gonna work. You can change its color, but the color will not be reflected while you're working, but it will be reflected when you render, which we will look into later in the upcoming videos. And then this is the cube. Well, not really the cube thing which you see here. It does not represent the cube. It represents the object. Okay, whatever thing I select here, it vanishes. It changes there. See, it contains details about the object which I've selected on the screen. This one, and it changes to cube. I select the camera, and it changes to camera. It can the same thing which you saw in the while pressing N. The same thing appears here with a few more stuff. Okay. And then comes the object constraint tab, which lets you add constraints to your objects. Well, you may not understand, I repeat, you may not understand anything that I'm saying. Just listen to what I'm saying, and then when we start making stuff, you will understand what these things are for. And then comes the modifier tab, which lets you add different modifiers to modify the shape or appearance of the object. There's this armature, cast, displacement, mirror, and all those things which we will also look into later. And then comes the object data tab. See, this one contains data related to the objects. For example, if you select different objects and make a group out of it, it will be reflected here. Vertex, group, shape keys, and all those things. I'm not sure if I'm telling this correctly, but this is something which it does. So if I'm wrong, please do mention that in the comment section. Okay, and then comes the material tab. See, this material tab is used to assign the material to the object which you have selected. By material, I'm talking about the colors and how the colors are. For example, if I set it to diffuse, it will be a normal shaded color. If I change it to glossy, it will be shiny. If I change it to glass, its material will change into a glass material, and all those stuff. Okay, this will do for the basics. We need not go into the details now. And next comes the texture tab. This contains details about the textures which you add into your blend file, be it image or brush textures or whatever. And this one is the particle system tab. It contains details about the particle system. Well, this is quite complex stuff. Well, how can I say that to you? Okay, it helps you to add particle properties to your cube. For example, if you want your cube to shoot out bullets, you can use that, something like that. I think you get an idea. It helps your cube or any object which you've selected to emit particles. That's it. That's the way to put it simply. And then this one contains the physics tab, and this physics tab is used to add physics stuff for your object. If you want to make your object into a fluid, you need to add this. If you want to make this into a smoke, you need to add this. And so that's it. And coming down here, okay, this one helps you in identify in what mode you are. So now currently we are in object mode. If you press edit mode, you get to get into edit mode and work with more intricate details. For example, previously when I was in object mode, these things look like this. Now when I get into edit mode, you can see that there are more options appearing. Here by default vertex mode has been selected, and this helps me to play with the vertices, stuff like that. And if I select edge mode, if I select edge mode, I can play with the edges. If I select face mode, I can play with the faces. So that will do for now. Now let's jump back into the object mode. To shift between modes, press the tab key. Okay, what is next? Here it is. Well, this can helps you shift into different views. If you want this view to come in this place, go here and select properties. See, the same thing. So if you're not happy with the arrangement, I don't want this to be on the right, I want this to be on the left, so you can do that. And if you want a 3D view this side, you can do it. So I hope you do get it. So let's switch back to the previous mode. This looks so messy. Okay, where was I? Alright, now setting up the file. By default, when you install Blender, you may see notice that you're not able to select the object properly. That is because by default Blender has the selection property to right click, so we all would first left click on that object and it does not work. See, so for that you have to go to file, user preferences. This thing opens up, and then select the input tab. Now select and change the select with option to left. So now everything can be selected with your left mouse button, I'm sorry. And one more thing for your convenience, I'm turning on the screencast keys here, so whatever I do on the screen you will be able to see it. Yeah, okay, and turn on screencast. Where is it? See, if I press N here, like I said, to open properties press N, to close it press N again, to open tools press T. So like that. Now I'm moving it around and all those things. In order to pan your view, press the middle mouse button and move your mouse. See? Okay, I think I'm going too much for an introduction video. Okay, this is the basics of the Blender interface. And once you set your interface to your default, make sure you have the cycles render selected here and this one also selected here. Once you got an interface that looks something similar to this, press file and select save startup file. Okay, Now every time when you start Blender, it will start with this scene, okay, with the cycles render selected. Once again I repeat, never use Blender render because it's highly confusing and all. Okay guys, this sums up the introduction video. This is my first tutorial video, so if I'm talking too much or if I sound like uh, a robot or something like that, please bear with me. I hope I will improve with time. So that sums up the video. Please like and comment your views, and also don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys.